Welcome to the driveway garden. But now you're looking and you're saying, where's the driveway? Oh no! Well, I have a couple small areas that I do plant in the soil. And of course I use my compost on this every year. And of course in the soil areas, I do just like Charles does. 1 inch does it, and I can grow succession of crops. So what we have here is my hog panel garden. And I use these hog panels, or cattle panels, whatever you want to call them, because all my brassicas, they get those worms. Those little butterflies love laying their eggs on there, and especially if they get on these things when it's young, they can kind of devastate a crop. So I just cover these right away. I leave anything in here covered all through the summer, actually, and it's real easy for me to harvest because I just move a panel and I can get in here. So it's real convenient. You can water right through it as well. So it's really been excellent, and things have grown really well in here. We're going to look at a few things in here. Today it's October 23. We got actually a lovely fall day. Colors are popping, things are beautiful, and speaking of something beautiful, let's look at this Savoy cabbage. I just love how this looks. The color, the texture. This head is ready to go. It's nice and firm. It's opened up. And so we're going to harvest this today. I planted this in mid-July, and today's October 23. And maybe it could be a bigger head, but it's pretty good size. And we're going to take a look at this here. We're going to get in here and harvest this. And I think I got to sharpen my knife. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's take a look at this beauty. Get a few of these leaves off. I mean, these are, and of course, these leaves are actually very edible as well. Let's get a few off. And get a nice look at that beauty. Let's get right in there. So my wife has got a recipe already for that, and we're going to eat that today because this is what I love about no-dig gardening. You harvest it, eat it that day, and it is the best flavor ever. So that's going to be a tasty treat tonight. So we'll set that down. I got a few other things in here. I got some leeks. This is called American flag leek. I sowed the seed in April on these, and I planted these mid-July. So, and they're pretty good, getting pretty good size, doing well. These we'll let go. These are open pollinated, which simply means if you use the seed generally come true to the plant. And yeah, like I said, we'll harvest those late spring, early summer. I have leeks in various stages. So I have other ones that are over winter that are smaller. And those I find I can usually harvest into July. So I'll have some choices on that all through spring into summer. I also got some Russian kale, which we have been harvesting regularly. I have 3 other Savoy cabbages. I planted at the same time as this one, and for some reason they're a lot smaller. I'm really not sure why, but they'll come along yet. They're popping yet in this nice cool weather, and they like it, and they'll do well. I also have some early, hard to see in here, I have some early Wakefield cabbage. Now typically you're going to want to plant these in the spring, and it gets a more narrow head. And I just experimented a little. I planted the seed in July. When it says early on a variety, typically it's going to be early spring to plant it and harvest early summer. But I just did a little experiment. But this plant, it's got 3 heads growing on it. So this one's a little small, but these are starting to form, and these are pretty firm. Pretty firm. This one's kind of small, but I think I got some more weeks on that. I think I'll have a nice harvest from one plant. We got some other things in there. There's some carrots. I'll pull those out for you, Brandon. Look at that bunch. Here. Carrots. I've had a heck of a time growing those. These are the best ones I've ever grown. So this was a mixed pack, so I don't know all the varieties in there actually. Next year I'll go straight varieties, but they really did well, and they really liked it under here. I didn't get the carrot root fly in there, and I don't see any damage on here whatsoever. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take a walk and over here, and just look at the garlic a minute, and right over here, Brandon, if you can get around here. Now, under this peach tree, it seems like a strange place to do it, but I planted the garlic. And I have Snow Hill garlic softneck, which are the softnecks are the one that store better. And then I have red chestnut right here, and it's starting to sprout. And that's the hardneck. Typically you get a bigger clove on that, and the softneck stores better. So I planted these at the end of September, and they're all popping here. And I have some in containers, and I'll show you that in just a second. Well, here we are in the driveway garden, and you're saying, doesn't look like much of a garden because it's mostly empty. Well, we're near the end of the year here in our growing season. And even though I have something in all the containers, because I have mustards and spinach and lettuces growing in all of them to one degree or another. So they also have things growing, but I'm moving them to the side of my property. And I actually clear the driveway out so we can put cars in it. Good idea, huh? So here we go. But let's get back to our garlic. So we had the garlic under our peach tree, and we planted that on September 30th. And these two containers, same varieties, I also planted on September 30th. And it's interesting, in the containers, only the softneck, the Snow Hill softneck came up. And it has top growth, but not the red chestnut. Curious thing. So I want to see what's going on in there, because you get a little concerned, is that doing anything? So let's take a look, see if we can find one here. Where was it? Here we go. Okay, let's see if, oh yeah, I can feel that's rooted. Oh yeah, here we go. See that, how that looks? So you see it's rooting nicely. And so that's perfect. So I know that's happening in the soil under the peach tree as well. So these are just fine. And it just gives you a little idea of the different growing conditions can cause some different responses. And why they're all popping over there, including the red chestnut, I can't explain that exactly, but except for just slightly different conditions, and they responded differently. Here I have some I planted on October 14th, and I did a land plot and back with some of those as well. And you really can plant garlic from September to December if you want, but I just picked 2 different dates, 2 weeks apart, just to see if there was a difference in response. Just a little experimental thing to do. Also, I'll be harvesting some other things soon as well. I got some different turnips here. That's called Orient Express. And I just bunched them differently in here. And you can see when you get a bunch in together in a smaller area, if you can take a look at this, Brandon, you can see you put that many together and they just stay smaller. Perfectly edible, but I find I enjoy the turnips in a little larger size. So next year I'll put maybe 2, maybe 3 together. Maybe we'll play with that a little bit. And then we have this blue curly kale. Now this one is really something, because this overwintered last year. We've been harvesting on it since last year. And you can see it has great new growth as well, and that's popped in the last 7 to 10 days. And I think this wants to overwinter again. We'll see how that does. So we'll revisit this garlic, and we'll revisit this blue curly kale to see if it came through a second year. It's so nice to have plants that do that, because you can continue to harvest and eat fresh veggies. So it's really good. So let's go to the garage side garden and take a look at Brussels sprouts. Hi, surprise. Here we are at my garage side garden. I got a lot of goodies in here, but we're going to particularly look at this Brussels sprout. This is called Long Island Improved. It's also an open pollinated, which again simply means if you use the seed, it will come true, typically. That's going to be some nice dinner here. I'll start harvesting some of those. Actually, I should have started harvesting some from the bottom up already. But most of them look pretty good. Some of them are blowing up a little bit. But I would say 80% of them are just fine. So when we harvest, it's really a simple harvest. You just push down on your thumb and you got it. And it's a good harvest. Actually, the foliage on here is also good. So most of the time we throw this away. But it would be the fresher foliage that would be good.
As in you can eat it?
As in you can eat it. In fact, a lot of these brassica leaves you can eat. Most people don't do it though. Not really sure why, but I have been doing it more and more. So we're going to take a look at just a few things in here. And so in the summer, I especially had 3 different types of squash here. And over here in this pot particularly, I had a squash called Cube of Butter. I had 29 beautiful squash out of that. And next year I'll weigh and document all that as we grow. But I love this plant. It doesn't want to stop. Even now, I got a nice little one right here. And even that size is great to eat too. And what I like about this variety is even when I miss some, because sometimes it's like you blink and all of a sudden they're huge. But these, even when they're huge, have great flesh, very little seed, and are one of the best squashes I ever grew. Now this one is in a container on soil, and these plants get really huge. So I think this plant would not have done well as well or on the cement, because the roots have, even though they're only small drainage holes, the roots have gone all the way through, and you can see the extent of the plant. And of course, a lot of the foliage has died away, just to give you an idea. But the roots have gone through the pot here, but we still use the container, and it has been fantastic. So this is my garage side garden, but I have some containers here as well. So it's been an abundant crop this year and a lot of good things, and much more to come. Hey folks, I don't want to be corny, but I found a fork in the road. And I just want to be sure that you subscribe, comment, and like the Driveway Garden. Thank you so much.